All right. Hi, guys. So today we are going to learn a little bit about rights and responsibilities, okay, and what it means to be a citizen. So before we start, I just kind of want to know, what do you know about rights and what is something you know about a right? Okay. Corbin, what's something that you know about a right?
A right is a thing that you can do.
A right is a thing that you have to do. Okay. Claire, what is something that you know about a right?
It's one your responsibility.
It's a responsibility. Okay. And what do we know about responsibilities? Can you think of an example of a responsibility that you have? Okay. Claire, what's a responsibility?
Like your responsibility when you get home is to unpack for school.
Oh, okay. So when you get home from school, your responsibility is to unpack from school. And Corbin, what did you have to say about a responsibility?
Doing your chores is a responsibility.
Doing your chores is a responsibility. Um, and so those are kind of rights and responsibilities. Today we're going to talk about rights and responsibilities and what exactly those are. We're also going to learn about them. We're going to read a couple of pages from this book. It's called Kids Make a Difference. Kids Are Citizens Too. It's by Ellen Keller. So think back, we watched a video before we started and we heard about rights and responsibilities. So did that video teach you anything about a right or responsibility? Claire?
Yes, because it's like if a law is something where people can't go and steal your car.
Right, so a law means that we can't do it. And so as we get started, we're going to look at some vocabulary words that are important to our book and what we're learning. Okay, so if we look on the smartboard, our first one is that a citizen. Okay, a citizen is a person who was born in a country or who chooses to live in and become a member of a country. So we are all citizens of a country. Who can think of what country we are citizens of? Corbin. Right. We are citizens of the United States because we were born in the United States. Okay, but some people aren't born here. They just choose to live here. Like maybe your grandparents or mom or dad or another adult came to the United States and then they became a citizen of the United States. Okay, because they chose to live here. Okay, a right. Rights are privileges that are protected by law and cannot be taken away. So that there's something that nobody can take away from you. And then responsibilities. Responsibilities are things that you should do. Okay, they're things that you should do, like maybe making the right choice. So we're going to get started on a couple of pages of this book. Okay, and so this book at the very beginning, it's called Kids Make a Difference. Kids Are Citizens Too. It says, who is a citizen? Kids are citizens. Citizens are members of a country either because they were born in a country or because they become citizens by law. So if you were born in the United States, you became a United States citizen as soon as you were born. If you were born in another country, you became a citizen of the United States. You fill out an application and pass a test. Then the United States government makes you a citizen. Chapter 1, Rights and Responsibilities. Picture this, your class is going on a field trip. The teacher gives your class a choice of 3 places to visit. An art museum that has an exhibit on Egyptian mummies, a Civil War battlefield, or a Native American village. Which trip will you vote for? How might you convince your classmates to vote for your trip? Voting. Voting is one way to make your voice heard. When you vote, you make a choice. Think about the different things you vote for in school. Did you ever vote for any of the following? Class officer, student council members, a hallway monitor, a book to report on a group project? For many citizens, voting is one of the most important rights they have. What are other rights and responsibilities? Rights. As a citizen, you have some basic rights. These rights or privileges are protected from law and they cannot be taken away from you. Here are some of the rights and freedoms all Americans share. Freedoms of speech. You have the right to speak out. You have the right to express your opinion, what you believe or how you feel about an issue. Freedom of press. You have the right to read what you want and to express your opinions in writing. Freedom of religion. You have the right to worship as you choose. Freedom of assembly. You have the right to work peacefully with others to demonstrate for or against an issue. Equal protection of the law. You have the right to be treated fairly under the law. If accused of a crime, you have the right to a fair, speedy trial. Responsibilities. Along with your rights as a citizen, you also have responsibilities or things you should do. Here are some of them. Be informed. Learn more about how your government works and your rights and responsibilities as a citizen. Respect the law. Obey the law. Respect the people who carry them out. Make your voice heard. If you feel strongly for or against a community issue, let others know how you feel and why. Write a letter to a local newspaper. Go to a town meeting. Show respect to others. Even if you disagree with people, respect their rights. Listen carefully to what they have to say. As a citizen, they have the same basic rights as you to have to be heard. Being a good citizen means that you are responsible. You care about the world around you. You think about others as well as yourself. You volunteer to help out in school and in your community. So, being a good listener. As a citizen, your opinion counts. You live in a democracy. A democracy is a form of government in which people have a voice. They elect citizens that like themselves to make the law useful. Before you voice your opinion, however, make sure that it is an informed opinion. An informed decision is based on facts that can be checked. It reflects careful thinking on all sides of an issue. I hear you. Have you forgotten something you know you heard? You may have just tuned out. You may have been distracted when someone was talking. Just because you hear something doesn't mean you are listening. You hear with your ears. You listen and think with your brain. So be sure to engage your brain in the next time you listen to an issue that affects you. Hearing plus the brain equals listening. Okay, so here are some steps to becoming a good listener. I'm just going to read over these really quick because here in a minute I'm going to let you and your partner talk about what you think are some rights and responsibilities that you have. So we need to make sure that we're listening and being a good listener. So the first thing is that you have to listen actively. Clear your head, stop thinking about other things. Make eye contact with the speaker, so I should see your eyes. Listen carefully, focus on the speaker. Listen to his or her voice, pay attention, right? You can show me you're paying attention by making sure pencils are down, your hands are carefully in your lap or on your desk. Pay attention to gestures and movements, and look carefully at information that's supposed to be charts, numbers, and photos. Think as you listen. This is really important in school. Make sure you're listening and you're thinking about what we're talking about, right? Keep it in your brain, think about it, make sure you make notes of it. Okay, so here is what I want you to do. I want you guys to spend the next minute, we're going to spend 1 minute talking about what are some of your rights and responsibilities. I am going to start a timer for 1 minute. It's going to be right here on the board. So I want you to quietly, with a voice level 1 or 2, talk to your partner about what are some of your rights and responsibilities. Okay? Thumbs up if you understand. Okay, ready, set, go.
Gotta pick up some, and our teacher has to tell us something that we have to do. And we have to listen to what they're talking about and focus on our work.
Well, you're talking about a lot of your responsibilities. What are some things that are your rights? Why don't you talk about some of your rights that maybe that we can't take away from you?
can't take away.
Or do you have any idea? How about your right to, can we take away your right to learn?
No.
We can't take that away, can we? You can always learn. What are some other things that somebody can't take away from you?
We can't take away somebody's home.
All right, no, so you can't take away your home. Okay, so when you say what are some things that you can't take away? Okay, there is our timer, so we are going to stop. And we are going to use this cluster chart to brainstorm some ideas about what are some of our rights and our responsibilities, so that when we fill out our paper, we can work on it again. If we remember, a right is privileges that are protected by law and cannot be taken away. So we can't take them away no matter what. And responsibilities are things that you should do. So I'm going to draw a stick, and I want you to come up with an idea of what you and your partner talked about was a right or responsibility. Okay, Claire, what did you come up for a right? What's a right that you have?
Is the right the one that you can't take away from someone?
Yes, so you're right. You're right.
You can't take away somebody's home.
Okay, so you have a right to have a home, right? So you have a right to have a home. Okay. Corbin, what did you guys come up with? What was a right or a responsibility?
Responsibility. It's a responsibility to do your homework.
Oh, so your responsibility is to do your homework. That's a good responsibility for kids to have. So homework, right? Okay. What's another right, Claire? Or responsibility?
Responsibility is you have to do your chores.
So chores are a responsibility. Okay, I have a question about a right. Is it your right to have an opinion, to think what you want to think?
Yeah.
Right? So having your own opinion and to be able to think of what you want is a right. You can think whatever you want. Right? That's your right. We can't tell you what to think. Claire.
You can't take away somebody's imagination.
So you have a right to have an imagination. Okay, what's another responsibility you might have? Corbin?
To go to school.
To go to school. Okay, so there's some ideas. What we're going to do now is we are going to, I'm going to model for you what we're going to do on this paper. So you each have a pencil and you each have a paper. I'm going to give you one of these papers. Okay, so at the top, I want you to write your name. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to write your name, and then we're going to move on. I'm going to write Mrs. G. Okay, so on this paper, you're going to fill in the blanks to list some of your rights and responsibilities. So in the first column, we have rights, and in the second column, we have responsibilities. So for my right, I have a right to, I'm going to use Claire's example. I have a right to have a place to live. So I'm going to write, I'm going to use a full sentence because we're in 4th grade. I have a right to have a home. Okay, so remember to use our full sentences. And my responsibility, I'm going to use my own example. My responsibility is to come to school and teach you. That's my responsibility. Remember, use your tag, and then write a full sentence. I have a responsibility to go to work. Not that I'd ever not want to go to work, because I love you guys. Okay, so as we finish up, I want you guys to fill out your chart. I want you to come up with 4 more examples of rights and 4 more examples of responsibilities. Remember, we learned about a rights and responsibility. We watched a video, we read a book, we came up with examples, and a right is something that nobody can take away from you, right? And responsibility is something that you should do, right? Like you guys should do your homework, or you should do your chores, or any of those things. And so as we finish up, think about what those mean and come up with your own list of ideas based off your partner talk or what we went over about your rights and your responsibilities.